All right, so I'm making this video to show everybody a little bit more in-depth detail of the diesel snowblower. So this has been on my channel, just shorter videos for the last few years, and I haven't really made any really good videos. Unfortunately, we haven't really had very much snow since I built this machine. You know, I obviously built it to use it when there's a lot of snow. So if we don't get a lot of snow, it doesn't really get used. But I figured, as you can see right now, there is no snow. So I figured I would make a video, kind of just going over it, talking about it. Unfortunately, we won't be able to showcase it in this video. It's December right now, and it's currently 28 degrees, but there is no snow. So it could happen any day, or it might not. Anyway, here's the machine. It started its life as a Boland's machine, if I had to guess. Probably early 90s vintage, I would say. I believe it had a 5 or 6 horsepower single cylinder gas Tecumseh engine on it. This snowblower belonged to my neighbor, and he blew it up. Didn't check the oil or ran low on oil, whatever. He blew up the original engine, blew the connecting rod. I actually ordered a new rod and got it running, got it working again. This was after I acquired it from him. He didn't want anything more to do with it. So I was like, hey, you know what? This is a big machine. You know, it's big, it's sturdy, it's built well. It deserves a better power plant. So it is a Chinese diesel engine. I bought it brand new on eBay, shipped it to my front door. You can see there's the fuel tank. Here's the top of the engine. No spark plug, no wires. You've got your injector return, injector feed, which comes from down here out of the injection pump. So yes, this is a diesel engine. There's no wires, there's no glow plug. A diesel engine does not need a glow plug to run. It just helps it to start. Also, I apologize for any wind noise. It is a bit windy out this morning, so I hope you guys can hear me. Anyway, so yeah, this started its life as, I believe, a 10 horsepower diesel, Chinese diesel engine. I used it for a season. It was a pretty easy swap. You can see I've got some bolts with big washers underneath that come up through. I had to pull the belly pan off the machine. I had to make a custom belt cover to conceal my belts back there because the center line of the crankshaft sat higher. So yeah, there's that. That works pretty good. Fabbed that up quick. Goes right into the same holes as the original one. So then, as you can see, got some additional stuff going on here. So this engine started its life naturally aspirated. I think I ran it that way for a year, maybe 2. And then I came up with the idea of adding a turbocharger. So that's what that is. I've also got a stack put on here. Couldn't use the original exhaust anymore, so I said, hey, why the hell not? Might as well make, I actually made this muffler. It's a little bit dirty now, but take my word for it, it looked really nice. There's actually, you can kind of see the weld marks. There is a plate in there, a baffled plate, so it did actually quiet it down. It's not just for looks. And then yeah, fabbed that up, cut out some flanges for the turbo, made a little exhaust manifold there. This is version 1 here of the intake manifold, so it's not my best work, but it does work. Kind of had to go at an odd angle here to make it work off of, these are just purchased elbows here that I cut down and adjusted the lengths just to get something to work. So it does work. Should probably get the debris out of there, but it's fine. It'll like it. This is my oil return line from the turbo, which is an unpressured line, just bringing the oil back to the crankcase, which also reminds me I had to plumb oil into the turbo. So this is the oil feed line, and this is a custom fitting here that I made. That's a compression fitting, and it's welded to a bolt with a hole machined through it. And then that's a copper sealing washer to help it to seal. So this is my 1/8 inch oil feed line, which is plenty. It is plenty supply for this turbo. That comes from a pressurized oil galley right here on the front side of the engine. So this right here is your oil filter that you can take out. It's just a little screen you can clean. And so that this engine does have pressurized oil, and you can tap into it right here, come right off of that with an elbow. Another compression fitting, that's just MPT to 1/8 inch tube. Little anti-chafe countermeasure there. And then that just comes right up and gets applied to the turbo. So it works good. I'd say I've probably got, I don't know, a few hours of actual use on this machine. Probably more just in runtime. But I've got that many hours of actual use, and everything's been fine. It doesn't consume any oil. It doesn't blow up, nothing like that. So yeah, other than that, it's a pretty nice machine. Got some tire chains thrown on there. My neighbor, when he had this machine, actually did not have his little skis down here adjusted properly. He actually wore the entire bottom of this away. So even if you had your skis adjusted as high as they could go, you know, making the machine scrape as low as it could, you could still never actually get a nice scrape action on your driveway or your sidewalk, whatever. So I had to scab in there a nice piece of stainless steel, and it actually works. So yeah, other than that, I do have this right here is some sort of rubber material that I have bolted to the impeller. You can see there. That's just a little modification that kind of helps to wipe the snow out of here. You can see how clean it actually gets the drum. So that's wiping it clean and then sending it out. So it works good with the heavier snow. Up here where we live, we tend to get a lot of what they call lake effect snow. It's not the nice, soft, fluffy, powdery stuff that you imagine. It is big, heavy, thick, wet flakes. So you gotta have something like that to be able to spit it out. So anyway, enough jawing about it. I think I'm gonna pause this video quick. I'll try to get it set up, and I will try and start this. It is 28 degrees. I don't have any starting fluid. My method for that is to take a propane torch and heat up the intake right there. You can see that there's some discoloration. I'll heat that up, basically turn it into a grid heater, slash, glow plug. Heat up that intake charge a little bit. Usually fires right up. So I will be right back. All right, well, I have the camera kind of half-ass propped up. Hopefully the wind doesn't blow it down. And I'm gonna try to start this thing. So the other thing that tends to happen on this, my throttle cable that I have, which is right there, it is kind of just a twist and pull and then twist it back to lock type cable right there. And it runs down here. In this low point, it tends to get some water that accumulates and then it turns to ice. So right now, I'm gonna have to use the torch to melt that ice. Otherwise we can't work the throttle. See, now that works. Put that to full throttle. Heat up that intake manifold, and then we'll try and give her a start. Runs pretty good. See if we can't lower that idle down a little bit. Not bad. Look at that. Nice and sooty. yeah, all the functions work. This is where the original throttle control was. Here's mine that I've added. Got 4 forward gears, 1 reverse speed. The ignition key doesn't work anymore. There is no ignition. Chute control, and then the auger, which I can show you does work. That works. Our forward speeds. This is first gear, so it is very slow, but it does work. Reverse does work. If I rev up the engine, it'll go pretty quick. But yeah, I hope that everybody enjoyed this video. I hope it's not completely shit production quality. And I've got the neighbor's dog barking over here. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions, or if there's anything else that you guys want to see pertaining to this machine, just let me know. I can offer whatever helpful knowledge or advice that I can if you guys want to do a swap like this yourselves. So just leave a comment down below, and I'll try to get back to you. Thanks.